If we look at the charts are still negative, right? I mean, there's no denying this, all right? You have a bear flag right here underneath this resistance line right here, all right? And any sort of downside move, we actually will have a small stopping point around 24,800, but really the big level is going to be in the 23,000 range. So 23,000 to 24,000. That's going to be your buy level for a bounce. Now, do I think that's the bottom? No. As of now, I'm undetermined. I still think we could go to new lows.
Gareth Soloway, a well-known technical analyst and seasoned swing trader, has maintained a predominantly negative outlook on the cryptocurrency sector for almost 18 months. The dominant cryptocurrency was overbought and set for a significant fall, according to Soloway in 2021. Soloway persisted with his gloomy outlook and continued to warn investors against getting overly enthused about the cryptocurrency business in the near future as a result of several macro and geopolitical developments, as well as industry-related breakdowns that affected prices the following year. Soloway is still largely negative towards cryptocurrency in 2023. This time, the technical analyst accuses U.S. regulators of continuing to intervene with the market, which has resulted in recent price swings and a suppressed sideways expansion of the sector. There are many indications, in Soloway's opinion, that the cryptocurrency market is still very much in a bear market, and the U.S. government is actively suppressing prices by delaying the implementation of necessary regulations for the sector. Soloway cites the low turnout at this year's Bitcoin Miami conference as one of those indicators. The conference, which prides itself on being the biggest meeting of Bitcoin enthusiasts, attracted 35,000 attendees the year before. Only roughly 15,000 persons attended the conference this year. Soloway blames the current situation of the U.S. economy and waning interest in the cryptocurrency sector because of the regulatory crackdown and the government's failure to offer much-needed clarity for the industry. While many people blame crypto winter for the poor attendance, Soloway blames the current status of the U.S. economy. Moreover, Soloway thinks the rejection was planned. The well-known technical expert claims that China's playbook is being used by the U.S. government. According to Soloway, the U.S. government intends to stifle the industry's expansion until it introduces its central bank digital currency, which shares the same underlying technology as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but has the added benefit of being easily manipulated and controlled by the government. Soloway is confident that the cryptocurrency industry won't be able to advance into the next stage of its development and adoption until these concerns are fixed or adequately smoothed out. On the most recent episode of his weekly game plan program, he covered all these topics and more. Please watch the entire video because we have some crucial snippets from the broadcast that we want you to see.
I was bearish on Bitcoin before. I'm actually more bearish now, and I'm going to explain why. So number one, I've been talking about, first of all, let's go back about 3-4 weeks. When we were at 30,500, I came on this stream, I came on the game plan, and I said, guys, unless you get above this and hold above 30,500, this is a dead short, this is a bear market rally. All right, what happened? We pulled back. We pulled back to this level on the charts right here. We then bounced, we pulled back, we bounced. We then broke, and look at the bear flag we're making. Now, this is my problem. There's a couple things that I want to mention about Bitcoin. Number one, all right, I went to Bitcoin Miami. Attendance was down 43% at Bitcoin Miami. All right, this is one of the biggest events of the year for Bitcoin and crypto, and attendance was almost half of what it was the previous year. Now, is it partially that we're in a bear market? Well, maybe, but if you look back at when Bitcoin Miami was last year, price was only around 30,000 last year. So we were already well in a bear market, but there was, again, a huge amount of people. So you can't really blame it on the bear market. So the next thing that you would do is say, okay, well, is it the economy? And the answer is yes, it's probably partially the economy. Money is tighter for people. Inflation has taken a bite out of their disposable income. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that could be a factor. But I also think one of the unthought of factors is that there's not as much excitement in crypto. And that's an issue. Crypto needs to have the excitement level. Now, if you go in our bubbles, the Twitter bubble, the Instagram bubble, of course you're going to have excitement, right? I mean, you're going to a specific area. But the fact that the government is holding back regulation is very, very problematic. And to me, that's a negative. There are so many Bitcoiners out there that are these maxis, and they're like, but Bitcoin rallied 100% off of the lows. Like, it has to be a new bull market. And I'm like, dude, stop being doofuses. Like, think back in 2018. Bitcoin rallied 200% off of the lows and then still went back to the lows of 3,500. So you have to look at history. I know, trust me, I know there's this like, oh, I just wish, oh, I hope I can make $1 zillion. But you know what you're going to do? You're doing yourself a disservice. By not looking at facts, not being logical, not being strong in the mind and disciplined, you're actually going to cost yourself money. Now, again, is it saying that we couldn't have a bottom at 15,700? No, of course you could. Of course you could. But let the charts guide you. The 30,500 level is a level that I went on and I said, this is the Great Wall of China level. This is like the level where, this is the end-all be-all level. And we didn't get through it. So you have to, what's that telling us? I mean, just simply put, what's that telling us? So understand that, guys. You got to understand that. The other thing I'll say on Bitcoin that I don't like about crypto right now is that crypto has no identity. It lost any form of identity over the last couple months. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. The banking crisis hit. We saw banks collapsing. SVB collapsed, Silicon Valley Bank. And what did Bitcoin do? It shot up. Well, guess what? A month later, Bitcoin, some banks collapsed again. All right, we saw WAL, Western Alliance, dropping 50%, PacWest dropping like 75%. Bitcoin went down. So Bitcoin goes up when some of the banks collapse, but then when others collapse, it goes down. Well, that's not an identity. It's not telling us something. Okay, well, let's take another one. Let's talk about how Bitcoin right now, markets go up some days and Bitcoin goes up. Other days, markets go up and Bitcoin goes down. All right, well, now you got to say to yourself, wait, so is it a risk asset or is it a safety hedge? Is it the digital gold or is it a risk on play? And it's going up and down on both of them. There's no identity here. Now, I do think longer term, and let's be clear, longer term, I'm a big fan of the bull case. I think it does grow into its identity. I think it is the digital gold. But you know what's happening right now, guys? The government is stifling it. And they're doing it on purpose. I want to be 100% crystal clear. All right? Look up this. All right? So we obviously know, and I'm going to just repeat this. I've said this before, but this is one of the most important things you'll hear on crypto. And it's fascinating. All right? So basically what you have in this situation is the government is doing a China playbook. And what I mean by that is China, remember, China came out and banned Bitcoin. After they banned Bitcoin, what did they do? They released the digital yuan. Why did they do that? Well, they didn't want competition for the digital yuan. They wanted the digital yuan to gain traction in their economy, and therefore, it doesn't, then once the big players are using the digital yuan, Bitcoin is not as much of a threat. Well, guess what's happened? Now they're starting to loosen that regulatory control and that ban on Bitcoin because the digital yuan has the power. It's now embedded in the Chinese economy. Well, take it to the U.S. now. The U.S. is saying, yeah, well, and by the way, anyone who thinks that the Ripple decision isn't already made is like ludicrous. You think a judge really needs to sit for a year and think about things? I mean, really? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. So what that means is the government is saying, don't release this view, don't release your decision, and also we're not going to give regulation. By the way, Coinbase is suing them for regulation, so they can figure it out. They're threatening to leave the country. We've already seen, exchanges leave Canada because of this. But basically, look up FedNow. FedNow is a direct payment system that's going to be launching in literally weeks, I believe. And again, it'll basically be a Cash App equivalent or a Venmo equivalent. And it's the beginning of the introduction of the CBDC. And the idea here is very simple. It's the government is not releasing regulation because once regulation comes out, check this out. Once regulation comes out, then the institutions will get involved. Once the institutions put billions and trillions of dollars into crypto, you can't undo that. So as long as they don't release this information, you know what's going to happen? Then the big money sitting on the sidelines, heck, I'm not even willing to invest that much without knowing the rules in crypto, and they're waiting for FedNow to launch, the CBD to launch, the CBDC to launch, and then once that occurs, then you will get regulation. I would almost guarantee within weeks of this occurring, you will get regulatory framework in crypto. And by the way, one other thing, going to politicians, and I'm not a political dude right here, I mean, I just want to say this, but if you look at, I was at Bitcoin Miami, we had a presidential candidate speaking there. There was a presidential candidate yesterday on Twitter that announced They're all trying to be like, oh, I'm pro Bitcoin, I'm pro Bitcoin. Okay, I like that. I'm a fan of that. Good. But you know what? Maybe me, I'm just cynical, but I want to see if they get elected, if they still are. And I think it's a one way to guarantee votes, and they know that. I want to know that when they get elected, if they get elected, they're still behind it. And that's my skepticism. So again, yes, it's great to hear. Let's see how it goes.
What do you think of Soloway's evaluation of the Bitcoin market and the debt ceiling agreement? Please post your thoughts and insights in the space provided below. Also, make sure you set on post alerts for more videos, subscribe to the channel, and confirm that you like this video. Thank you so much for watching.